Hello and welcome to Advanced Data Analysis section. In this section, we are going to take our data analysis to a whole new level. So before we start, let us take a brief look at the data that is available for analysis in this section. First of all, we have some information about we need to notice that there is only one sheet that is available in this Excel file. And if you notice the name of this file, this says AdventureWorks Traditional Style Data. So basically AdventureWorks is a sample company that is provided by Microsoft for the data analysis, for the learning of data analysis. And with traditional style data, I mean to say that I have organized this data in the traditional style. So what is not the traditional? I mean, what is the modern style? We are going to discuss that in a few minutes. So let us take a look at the data. We have the order date on which the order was placed by the customers. Then we have the order number, and for that order we have some information available about the product. So we have the product key followed by the category of the product and the subcategory of the product. After that we have some information about the customer, and that includes customer name, their date of birth, the marital status, gender, annual income, and total children. After that we have some information about the territory, which contains information about the region, followed by country, followed by continent. And after that we have information about the order itself, that is order quantity, that how many, what was the quantity of that particular product in the order, and what was the cost of that particular item, what was the price of that particular item. And then we have total cost and total revenue. So basically total cost will be the cost per unit multiplied by the quantity, and the revenue will be the selling price per unit multiplied the quantity. So this complete information is available to us in one single Excel sheet, and we can analyze that in all different parameters that are available using pivot tables, and we have already learned that. But in this particular section we are going to address a new challenge, and that challenge is that the data will not always be available in that straightforward manner. Rather, we will fetch the data from the database, and the pattern of the data will be a bit different. What do I mean by that? Let us take a look at different Excel file. Now please take a look at this Excel file. So this is, again, there's a new name for this, AdventureWorks, that is the company name, and then DB style. So by DB style I mean database style. So first of all, let me explain you what is database. In the real world, all the data that is available to any organization is stored in a database. So for example, if you talk about the Facebook or Amazon, all the data that they have is not stored in a simple Excel file, because there's a lot of data and they need to be very efficient with the data. On just a click by a customer out of the billions of customers, they need to display that data, right? So this kind of organization of data requires a very sophisticated tool, and that is basically database. These databases are organized so well that they can address the needs of these organizations and such a good softwares. So how data is organized in the databases? So in this Excel file you can see what you are seeing here is actually an exact replica of how data is organized in a database. You can see that I have information scattered on different sheets. So we have sales, we have customers, products, product categories, product subcategories, territories, and calendars. So the same information is available to us that was available in the previous Excel file, but this time this has been scattered on multiple sheets within the same Excel file rather than being on the simple sheet. And why is that so? Let me explain you. So for example, you can see that in this first order, this order has 3 line items. So even though the product information is different for all of these 3 lines, other information like customer information and territory information will be same for all of these 3 lines. And if we bring in all the information in this particular sheet on one sheet, this will mean that we are duplicating information for no real reason, right? So databases are organized in a way that the duplication of data is minimized, so that the efficiency and storage is optimized in a proper way. So Now we have this information about the product key and customer key and territory key. And if I take you to the product key sheet, for example, you will see that on this product key sheet, you have the subcategory key, you have the product SKU, product name, product cost, and product price. So all the information about product cost and price is available here, but the information about the category and subcategory is not available. But we don't really have to worry about that because we have subcategory key here. So if I go to category sheet, you can see that against the product category key, we have the category name. And if I go to the next sheet, we have subcategory key, and against that we have the subcategory name as well. So if I go back to my first sheet, I can show you that we have this product key here, and by this product key, we have the information from other sheets that we can, if we need that, we can bring that information here using VLOOKUP or index match. And that is exactly what I have done in the traditional style data sheet. But here we will not be doing that. Rather, we will be learning a modern tool which is called Power Pivot. And rather than changing the shape of our data here, rather than duplicating all the information and pulling all the information from other sheets here, we will use that tool to analyze our data. Now let me explain you a little. Let me give you further some more examples. So let us say we have this customer key here. So if I go to the customer sheet, we can find the complete information. So we have customer key. We can find the name and their date of birth and the marital status, gender, annual income, and children. So even in this Excel file, we have all the information about customers. Let me show you territory. So if I go to the territories sheet here, you can see that we have the information available about region, country, and continent. So same information is available in this sheet as well, but that is scattered on multiple sheets. And because pivot table works only on one single sheet, a normal pivot table cannot enable us to analyze this particular sheet, this particular data. For that, we will be using Power Pivot. So before I wind up this discussion, I would like to repeat one thing. Why we are not interested in bringing all of that information from other sheets here in this first sheet is because if we do that, this will mess up our data here. This will bring in a lot of data, and as a result of that, our processing of data will slow down. By the way, I only have very limited information available in this sheet, that is 56,000 records only. But if we have more data, I mean we have millions of lines, the processing of data will be very slow if we bring in all of that information here in this sheet. And secondly, why we do that when we have a better system available to analyze our data. And finally, the other sheet that I have provided you in the resources section and that I will be using here in this particular section, the traditional style data sheet, I have already provided all of that information on one single sheet, and that is just for your practice, so that you can compare your results, so that you can get the kind of satisfaction that how these two systems are working.